Today, the Chicago Bears against the Los Angeles Rams.
It is a California afternoon at Anaheim Stadium. The Bears and the Los Angeles Rams. And the Rams talking title in the Western Division. As you can see, they are 5-4. The Saints won this afternoon over Atlanta and moved to 6-4. The 49ers still on top. In the Central Division, the Bears just trying to get better and hoping that maybe Minnesota will come back to them in that always scrambled Central Division. Hello, everyone. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris here at Anaheim Stadium. And, Johnny, this is a very special afternoon for the Chicago Bears and, indeed, an historic one.
It certainly is, Tim. This is the first game the Chicago Bears have ever played without Papa Bear George Halas, who died, as you know, earlier this week at the age of 88. Coach Mike Ditka says he doesn't want to dedicate just this one game to Papa Bear, but the entire rest of the season, and he hopes that the team is going to play in the mold of the old George Halas teams.
Come hell or high water, the Bears were going to put a physical beating on you. I don't care whether you won or lost. You're going to know you in the damnedest game you ever been in your whole life.
His first decision today, he's going to start Jim McMahon at quarterback, so the quarterback derby is still on.
Well, he kept that secret all week, made a big deal. And you can see on the shoulder of the Bears today a special commemorative patch for George Stanley Halas, the Papa Bear, who will certainly be missed throughout the National Football League, and what a mark he has left on the game of professional football. To the 5-yard line, down at the 4, and picked up at the 1 by Red, who's going to bring it up, and that was a mistake. He is hit almost immediately by Calvin Thomas, number 33, and got only to the 9-yard line. Dickinson is dropped for a loss by Otis Wilson, injured Gary Benson, and of course John Benson also hurt Dickinson, trying to find room in the middle. Osborne is there again. And Otis Wilson, number 55. Second and 8. 4-man front for the Bears. Gary Red knock tackle and stopped after a gain of about 4 yards in Atlanta. Bergamo under pressure finally just unloads the football. Tyrone Keys was the man who made him finally give it up. There was good coverage downfield by the Chicago Bears secondary.
There certainly was, because Ferragamo had all day.
Third down, Farmer in motion, a pitch to Dickerson. Dickerson cannot get running room again. Superb defensive play out the left side. And while he didn't make the tackle, it was Al Harris who forced the play. And it wound up being Keys and Wilson who got a clear pass
And turning them inside, and they're getting good support from inside. Watch number 50, Singletary. Now you see Harris strings it out to try and force him in. Then you'll see field. So that's the game plan on defense.
Dickerson, and it'll be close to the first down. Again, the Bears, good pursuit on Dickerson. Keys was there, along with the linebacker Singletary. And the Raspberries and the fans here in Los Angeles as the Rams go into a close battle. 2nd and 10 for the Rams, and it will be 1st and goal for the Los Angeles Rams on their 7th. Play action, quick play on the right side. That is the rookie Ellard. Blockers could not quite get there fast enough in front of him. And 7, Dickerson, away from one tackler. Stopped at the 6. Michael finally pulled him down, but Dickerson down to their 26 following the Bears touchdown. Gary Redden stopped out the left side after a gain of only 1. Bears defensively, McMichael, Osborne, Hartenstein, and Tyrone Keys. Number 98 getting his first start. Big rangy defender who came down from the Canadian Football League.
Well, Barry Redden is still in there.
Regulation time. 7-point Rams lead. Dickerson takes it up the middle and got about 4, maybe 5 before he's driven back. Osborne was there. Keys was there. Tyrone Keys and Al Harris certainly have been 2 key components here today defensively for the Chicago Bears.
The National Football League lost its founding father. At the age of 88, George Stanley Halas passed away. Sadly, we discovered that not even living legends can last forever. He was the last to witness the events that shaped the colossal pastime that is now the National Football League. Halas spanned the entire history of professional football. He was there on that humid night in 1920 when the NFL was created. Nicknamed the Monsters of the Midway, Halas's teams wore their toughness like a badge of honor. No other team so clearly reflected the personality of its head coach. George Halas leaves behind many memories and friends, but also an imperishable monument, the National Football League. As much as anybody, he is responsible for what millions of Americans do with their Monday nights and their Sunday afternoons. Halas watched his game rise from small-town rivalries to Super Sunday epics. His esteemed position in the NFL is further illuminated by the highest victory total in pro history. What that doesn't reflect, however, are the many lives he touched.
So since God has given us His Hall of Fame of people who have gone before us and had great faith despite hard times, let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who makes our faith perfect, so that one day God may say, "Well done, good and faithful servant," and we may be initiated into His great Hall of Fame.
60 years ago, I offered my heart and my helmet to my Lord. My heart is still beating. My helmet still fits. I pray the divine coach finds me worthy to be on his first team.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame, George Halas. It's yours. Player, coach, founder, come as you wish. We hail you as them all.
George Halas, the founding father of the National Football League.
I just never forget, as a kid, watching all the Super Bowl games.
You're going to make your presentation, of course, to the president of the Chicago Bears.
Yes, I am. I just want to mention first that a lot of people have said to me this week, or this year, isn't it too bad your dad wasn't here to see this? Well, I think he's been with us the whole season, and I think he's here with us now, and he'll be with us always. And it's a special honor and privilege for me to present this trophy to Ed McCaskey, the chairman of the board, to Michael McCaskey, president of the Bears, and to our coach of the year and every year, Mike Ditka.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
This was earlier today in the Bear locker room as the Bears packed in preparation to go to New Orleans for the Super Bowl engagement with the Patriots. That's Tyrone Keys getting his gear together. We're just hard by the side of that locker room. We're in the weight room.
Atlanta, bring on Dallas. This is for Mike and Papa Bear Halas.
When Super Bowl Sunday finally arrived, Mike Singletary thought about the coach who was leaving and the head coach who had made good on his promise.
And all I could think about was 3 years ago, this man walked in the room and said, if you just stand with me, if you just believe in me, we'll be at the dance in 3 years. And here we were.
I wanted the Bears to be the best. I wanted the Bears to have the best reputation. I wanted them to be the toughest, and I wanted to win the championship. And I told our team when I got there, I got good news and bad news. The good news is we're going to win a Super Bowl here. The bad news is a lot of you people aren't going to be here when we do it. And I didn't mean that to be cruel. I meant it to be factual.
One of the most dominant defenses ever saved its best for last.
To Grogan, the blitz is on, over the left side he goes.
We just took it at them, and we played Bear football today. You know, they tried to come out and do some things and intimidate us, but I think they learned that nobody intimidates the Chicago Bears.
What was going through your mind when the score started mounting?
Yeah, let's party. I was ready to go to Bourbon Street the third quarter, brother.
You got to talk about the spread, but you beat it by 3 times at least with the 46-10 victory.
Well, the thing that Buddy Ryan had expressed to us all week long, that they were exactly the same team that we played the second game of the year. We just let them do all the talking all week long, and we knew we had a good game plan, and we came out and performed real well.
So those boys are pretty well bruised up now.
And watching Monday Night Football, and my mom said, it's time to go to bed. But I said, no, Mom, I want to play pro football one day. And I never would have ever thought that when my dad took me outside to kind of throw the ball around, that this ball would have taken me places. But I want to tell young students, the ball without education and without the proper mentoring is a disaster. So I encourage the young people that they have to develop character, because football by itself is a non-transferable skill. But you can take everything that you learn from the coaches and the teachers, you can take with you and you can apply it, and you can parlay the game from the playing field to the game of life, and then come back and help the next generation on their journey.
So since God has given us his Hall of Fame of people who have gone before us and had great faith despite hard times, let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who makes our faith perfect, so that one day God may say, well done, good and faithful servant, and we may be initiated into his great Hall of Fame. A Hall of Fame is a place that honors people that are exceptional at what they do. It exists to remind future generations of the greatness of these people from the past.
Our first award this evening is usually presented by Ted Rubenstein, the brother of our late executive director, Michael Rubenstein. Regretfully, Ted is unable to be here this evening, but the award is named in Michael's honor and is given to someone who has made a lasting impact on local, state, or a national level. Tyrone Keys, a member of the Hall of Fame class of 2009, is this year's winner. 25 years ago, this 7-year NFL veteran established the All-Sport Community Service Incorporated. Since that time, ASCS has raised millions of dollars to aid those looking for mentors in both the Tampa Bay and the Mississippi areas. ASCS is a way to highlight the power of educators to bring a multicultural, intergenerational mentor model to bear fruit for families, communities, and the world. At an early age, Tyrone recognized those that helped him along his path to manhood. Now he is working to provide mentorship and guidance to those young people in need of a push in the right direction. Tyrone is the 7th to receive this award, joining former winners Dave Boo Ferris, Ben Puckett, Archie Manning, George Bryan, Governor William Winter, and Ron Polk. Tyrone continues to connect with the roots from his beginnings to the present times. Let's bring up Mr. Tyrone Keys.
A Hall of Fame is a place that honors people that are exceptional at what they do. It exists to remind future generations of the greatness of these people from the past.
That's another way to expand and help children. So financially, you would need help to do certain things like this. But I don't know, I did this for free. And then you can do anything with kids. So that's what my goal is. Just spend with Eric Banks, seeing what he's doing, and I'm getting like a head start and stuff like that. But also, it's very good. It's good to a lot of people. It's something that I want to be in when I get older. And after college, to be in an organization like that.
Sailor spends a lot of his days telling teens about his life growing up in Tampa.
It wasn't the best situation. When I was 4, that's the last time I remember seeing my biological mother, and I didn't see her again since I was 19 years old.
He and his younger brother were raised by their father.
My dad did everything he could to make sure that his boys was okay, but we had some real tough days and tough years.
Years in which Ricky would often skip class, which led to trouble.
My best friend was murdered at 24 years old, who was like my brother. My other best friend is doing 62 years in prison.
Ricky stayed out of serious trouble thanks to a community of men who mentored him. One of those was Tyrone Keys, a former NFL football player.
He said, hey, I came to the school to look for you, and I can help you go to college. Mr. Keys has had my heart ever since.
Ricky went on to junior college and then transferred to Texas Tech to play football. He graduated with a degree in human development and family studies.
Start working with kids right away.
To follow the example of those who helped him, Ricky started unsigned preps in 2010. They help high school athletes get college scholarships. Student athletes like Antonio Nunn.
Basically a second father figure, mentoring me along the way. And you can see now we're still, connected.
The grassroots effort has helped more than 350 students get to college. 90 have graduated.
My heart does smile because I feel that I fulfilled the dream of every mentor and coach that I had.
A dream that he is still living.
I'm pleased, but not satisfied. But I know I'm blessed because I came from a rough environment and made it out. With scars, but made it out.
Scars that help remind him to reach back and give a hand up to help teens navigate successful lives.
Well, I wanted to help high school student athletes achieve the dream of going to college.
And in 2010, Ricky Sailor founded Unsigned Preps and took 2 minivans filled with high school football players to college campuses. During this now annual bus tour, they have the amazing opportunity to meet the college players and coaches, practice with them, and experience a new life.
Some kids will get scholarship offers on that day. Some kids will get scholarship offers later on. And the spark of running to go to college and achieve something that they thought was just a pipe dream.
I was once that kid that, growing up, it's like the hope seemed there was nobody really there to push me.
Until Nelson Vasquez met Ricky, landed a football scholarship, and in May 2014 became not only the first unsigned prep to graduate from college, but the first person in his family. He is now a juvenile arbitration courtroom specialist, determined to pay it forward.
I just want to be some type of a guide to those kids before head down the wrong path.
Exactly what Ricky had in mind.
But the vision is for those guys to not only go to school and graduate, but be new leaders in the community.
A Hall of Fame is a place that honors people that are exceptional at what they do. It exists to remind future generations of the greatness of these people from the past.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, National Football Foundation and Hall of Fame, Tampa chapter, for selecting me for this prestigious award. I am truly honored that you all value my commitment to our hometown and the game of football. This community set my foundation and continue to support me throughout my lifetime. It is crazy to think I was in those seats as a student athlete 19 years ago. Like many of you all, I'm extremely proud of my high school, college, and NFL team. However, I realize the game of football is bigger than any one team. It is the conduit to prepare individuals for the game of life. It is the blood, sweat, and tears of the gridiron that gives you the strength to make a difference in the world. When I was in college, I read this enlightening quote by President Theodore Roosevelt, which states, "Do what you can with what you have where you are." This resonated with me because it opened my eyes to the fact that I did not need to have more money, more time, or higher title to give back. We have an opportunity in our everyday life to inspire others through our actions. By being present in the moment when someone needs support, by listening when someone is in pain, by breaking bread when someone is alone, by providing mentorship and guidance when someone needs help. We may all have different circumstances, but we can always find a way to be a good teammate. I sincerely wish I could be there with you all. I am currently attending the United States Army Command and General Staff College in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and was unable to be there in person. However, you are in luck. The real heroes of this award are sitting in the table with you all. Starting with my mother, Flora Coley. Thank you for the unconditional love and being my biggest cheerleader. My dad, Gilberto Perez. Thank you for teaching me the value of hard work and perseverance. My brother, Sergio Perez. Thank you for your friendship, love, and support. Couldn't be prouder of the man you have become. My uncle, Tony Esteves. Thank you for always being present and on call when I needed you the most. My kindergarten teacher, the late Miss Marcy Inman, being represented by her daughter, Miss Amber Inman. Thank you for your selfless service and inspiring hope for a brighter future. My high school football coaches, Coach Help, Coach Martin, Coach Moore, Coach Bruno, and Coach Underwood. As a kid that didn't play football till high school, I appreciate your patience and belief that I can be a contributing member to the team. My high school teammate, the late Ricky Davis, being represented by his parents, Ms. Jolene and Mr. Gary Davis, thank you for being a selfless teammate on and off the field. Mr. Tyrone Keys with All Sports Community Service, thank you for being the epitome of a role model and mentor. For those that didn't know, he won this award in 2003. Mr. Stanley Gray, thank you for your military service and being a trusted confidant. Lastly, I want to thank my wife, Angeline, and our 4 beautiful kids, Penelope, Layla, Lorenzo, and last but not least, Alexander. Thank you for allowing me to follow my heart and passion for developing the next generation of leaders. As you can tell, it takes a village to raise people to be the best versions of themselves. Please remember to give a special thank you to all those who have impacted your life. And do what you can with what you have where you are. Thank you, and God bless.
Gilbert Perez, all sport alumnus since 1998. Just want to let everybody know, it's always about, the family that we talk about. I met a lot of different kids just a couple of days ago. We had a luncheon at McDill Air Force Base. You talk about who you're a part of, this is the all-sport family. That luncheon was the ASIA family. So I'm very proud that 2 organizations are giving back to your organization. We're all different families, and we're all coming together as one.
and I'm lucky enough to be a part of all these different families, and especially excited that you're a part of our family.
A Hall of Fame is a place that honors people that are exceptional at what they do. It exists to remind future generations of the greatness of these people from the past. Did you know that God has a Hall of Fame to remember the extraordinary people of faith who were written about in the Old Testament? And we can find that Hall of Fame in the New Testament of the Bible. Hebrews 11 tells us that faith is the confidence that what we hope for will actually happen. It gives us assurance about things we cannot see. This faith is what gave people in the old days great fame. This faith is what puts them in God's Hall of Fame. By faith, Abel gave his best to God. By faith, Enoch walked with God and was a friend of God. By faith, Noah listened to God, obeyed God, trusted God, and did what's right. It was by faith that Abraham followed God, and that even Sarah, Abraham's wife, believed that God would keep his promise. It was by faith that Isaac promised blessings for the future to his sons, Jacob and Esau. And by faith, Jacob blessed his sons and worshiped God. By faith, Joseph believed that God would guide him and see him through every troubled time. By faith, Moses looked forward to the great reward that God had in store for him and led the people of Israel out of captivity. It was by faith that Rahab was not destroyed with the people in her city who refused to obey God. And it was by faith that Joshua led the people of Israel. All of these people became famous for their faith, yet none of them received all that God had promised. For God has planned something better for us, so that only together with us would they be made perfect. So since God has given us his Hall of Fame of people who have gone before us and had great faith despite hard times, let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who makes our faith perfect, so that one day God may say, "Well done, good and faithful servant," and we may be initiated into his great Hall of Fame.
It happened on the last Wednesday in February during 7th period here at Chamberlain High School, a Zoom meeting that will not be forgotten by anyone who was on it.
Separation is what you do off the field. How much you study, how much extra you're doing, that's the separation.
Brad Holmes is speaking from experience. The Detroit Lions selected the Chamberlain High School graduate to be their general manager out of a pool of 12 potential candidates.
As a black man from Chamberlain, what was the most difficult challenge that you faced?
Holmes fielded 4 questions from 4 players, picked by the Chiefs' head football coach, Jason Lane.
What he's doing at the top is what we're trying to do at the bottom. You know, it's a challenging population, and what this program has done is chosen to be uncommon as young men and coaches.
A trait Holmes recognized within minutes of meeting these teens.
I had to dig deep to answer those questions.
The players admitted they felt nervous talking to him.
It was like the celebrity. It's crazy, he was here doing all the stuff that we do. To know that he actually came to this school and, we can relate to him in that way, it kind of helped me. I started stuttering before I asked my question, and then eventually I just got it out.
They asked him about his climb to the top, hoping to learn how he did it.
What was your why when deciding to play football?
Great question. I love it.
While Holmes shared his family inspired his passion for the game, Chris Wainert told me he dreams of playing in the NFL to take care of his parents.
Yeah, they support me a lot.
Support. From Chamberlain Chief to Chamberlain Chief. That jersey hanging in the background is there for a reason.
You want to give so much to the game that you live on, and he was clearly worthy of the honor. I mean, we almost made him cry. We tried hard.
The Chiefs retired Holmes' high school number 55, to honor a man who is always willing to answer that call from home.
It's a constant reminder of what our young men can achieve.
I could probably say this is probably one of my best moments in my sports career. So, just thank you so much.
Coach Lane is full of surprises. He invited some of Holmes' family members, including his mother, to join the Zoom, making it that much more unforgettable. In Tampa, Gabrielle Shirley, 8 on your side.
God of the turnaround, I am God of the turnaround. I'm gonna push back and overthrow and overtake everything that's hindered you. I am God of the turnaround. I am God.
Football has been my entire life. But there's no, hey, we need a scout for the Rams. Chase the dream, guys. Don't chase money. These kids these days, a lot of them, they want to just hurry up and make money. That's not how it works all the time. But when you go through these tough times, don't immediately look at someone else. First, look at yourself, look inward, and figure out, is there something that I'm doing? I want to make sure that they understand what they need to have and what it takes, the work ethic, the intangibles, networking, connecting with the right people.
All right, ready for some football? The Bucks returning to Raymond James Stadium this weekend to take on the Detroit Lions after that bye week. And while everyone waits to see how Baker Mayfield does in Week 6, tonight we actually want to talk about one member of the Lions family because he's actually a hometown guy. Grew up right here in the Bay. Kevin Lewis with his story.
Lions general manager Brad Holmes graduated Chamberlain High School in 1997 and went on to be a standout defensive lineman at North Carolina A&T. Now, he told me he knew he wasn't going to play in the NFL, but he wanted to be involved with the game on some level. Unfortunately, he heard no everywhere he turned, so he took a job at a rental car place, lived at home, wondering if football was even going to be part of his future.
I never forget, I was sitting down in my mom's living room, and I was trying to watch a preseason game, and I couldn't watch it. And that's when it hit me. It's like, what am I going to do?
Holmes took an internship with the NBA's Atlanta Hawks, still renting cars, before his networking led to another internship with the Rams, still miles away from a full-time gig.
He interned for 2 more years. Finally, after the 3rd year, I said, Brad, you have to get a real job. I can no longer hold you on my insurance. And then, so he finally got a scouting assistant job.
Brad spent 18 seasons with the Rams, grinding his way up the ladder in the front office.
Kept my head down, kept doing my job, and I went from, scouting assistant to a combine scout to an area scout. I was able to go to a national scout and then become a college director, and it just kind of, the rest is history.
Brad's mom remembers the day her phone rang in January of 2021 when Brad called to give her the good news.
Just tears coming down my face. I was like almost hysterical. I just really couldn't even talk. It was like they finally recognized him for his talent. It finally paid off.
Brad barely moved into his office when he traded franchise legend Matthew Stafford to his former team in exchange for Jared Goff. And he's led 3 aggressive drafts to catapult the Lions into their current role of contender.
If anyone could pull this off, it could be Brad. And I remember the press calling me and they was like, yeah, so can you tell me a little bit about him? Can you tell me? And I said, what I can tell you about him is that he is going to help you win games because he understands players and he's going to get you some great players. And they were like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. She's just the mom.
It's not just Dan Campbell, but they have a general manager by the name of, I believe, is Brad Holmes. Jason, I've charted their last 3-4 drafts. This guy is Ozzie Newsome 2.0. From high draft choices, premium draft choices, to late round selections, this guy hits. And if you look at both sides of the line of scrimmage, They have premium players, all pro level players, and they have solid contributors. I think this team's going to run away with their division, and they are absolutely a threat as long as they have healthy running backs, because that's key for Goff. Now, again, go back to our earlier discussion. Do running games matter, and do they help make quarterbacks better than they seem? Yes. And when Goff has had good running games, going back to Todd Gurley in that Super Bowl year, this guy can operate. He can slice and dice. But they stifled the Bucs, held them to 6 points, and it felt like they were in control. Jason, Detroit is absolutely real.
The Jordan River stood between the Israelites and their promised land. But the same God who miraculously delivered them from the slavery of Egypt would once again make a way where there was no way. It is time for you to separate yourselves from the things of the world that hold you back from God, Joshua declared to the people of Israel, for tomorrow the Lord will do amazing wonders before your eyes. As God had been with Moses when he parted the Red Sea 40 years earlier, the Lord promised he would also be with Joshua. Inspired by this confidence, Joshua explained the plan that God had given him. "Here's what we will do," Joshua announced. "As soon as you see the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord your God being carried by the priests, follow after it." The Ark of the Covenant was important because it held the 2 stone tablets on which God had written his law, which showed his people how to live. It also held the promise of mercy and forgiveness when they failed to do what he commanded. This special golden box was the physical representation of the living God. It held the mystery and promise of a Savior. On this day, the people of God placed all their confidence and trust in him to deliver them, and God led them to the land he promised. When the priests who carried the ark approached the raging waters, they did not hesitate to step in. They were not afraid of what they saw with their eyes, because their focus was on the promise God had made them. With courage and determination, they stepped in. And God performed the most amazing miracle. God held back the waters of the Jordan River. From the moment the priests took the first steps into the troubled waters, they miraculously stopped flowing. Far up the river, at the city of Adam, the water piled high as though it were splashing up against an invisible wall. As planned, the priests stood on dry ground in the middle of the river and waited until all the people of Israel passed by. When the last of them had crossed safely, the priests followed behind. And when they reached the other side, God released the waters back into the river canyon as they had been before. God proved to Israel that there was no sea deep enough to hold them back from his promises. It was important that his people always remember how mighty and powerful their God was, so that they would have the strength and courage to trust him in the future. So God had one representative from each of the 12 tribes of Israel collect stones from the riverbed to memorialize this great event. One by one, Joshua placed each stone in a pile as he acknowledged God's power and goodness. In the future, when their children and their children's children looked at these stones, they would remember how God separated them from a painful past, how he built their faith and trust in his strength, how he brought terror and confusion to their enemies, and most importantly of all, this event held the promise of their final deliverance that would come through Jesus the Messiah.
We begin our story in 2009. Howard Ballou introduced you to Fred Burns. The Wingfield Falcon was homeless, but flew through adversity to shine at Stew Pot, on the gridiron, and in the classroom as valedictorian. One of the people in Burns' corner is Super Bowl champion Tyrone Keys.
I think what Fred has done is showed everybody that regardless of your setbacks, you can make a great comeback.
Burns has accomplished even more in the last 7 years. An engineering degree, going back to Stew Pot to donate computers, and following his dream.
So I work as a software engineer at American Airlines in Dallas, Texas, full-time. On the side, I make iPhone apps. That's my, you gotta have, they say you have to have a job and a hustle, and so programming is my passion. Mr. Keys, I've been there the whole way. And he's like, you know what, Fred, we need to find a way to keep this going for the next Fred Burns, the next person coming behind.
Tyrone paid it forward to Fred. Fred is doing the same for Jordan Jefferson. The Callaway Charger is the winner of the first Fred Burns Scholarship Award.
I played football, soccer, powerlifting, I ran track. I'm the student body vice president, the National Honor Society president. I'm in a lot of organizations at school. I would say it's very comparable on how Mr. Keys did with Fred. He calls me basically every day to see how I'm doing. His father figure as well.
Like Fred, Jordan is also a valedictorian. He also decided to stay in state for college to help his home state.
Mr. Keys has helped me out with a scholarship at Jackson State, so I'll be attending Jackson State in the fall. I'll be playing football as well, and I will be major in mass communication. This city is full of talent, full of potential, especially in JPS. There's so much that can be told out there. It's very special.
A couple of weeks ago, former Jackson State University student body president Jordan Jefferson said he got a message that offered him the opportunity of a lifetime.
My mentor Tyrone Keys texted me last Wednesday and was like, there's an opportunity for you to dance halftime of the Super Bowl. And he's like, I need you to be here tomorrow. I was like, what?
He said after that, he got permission from his job working with Congressman Benny Thompson, hopped in his car and drove 11 hours to Tampa, not knowing what to expect.
There's a lot of sit and wait, a lot of change this move, change that move, stand here, stand there, no, I don't like you there.
Jefferson was on the field for the final act of the weekend's halftime performance. One of the many dancers wearing the white bandages over their heads.
It felt like the first day of helmets for football, but a little worse. I kind of broke mine a little bit because my head is big to put it on, but yeah, it's very uncomfortable.
The former college football player says being on the field for the Super Bowl was amazing.
The crowd was going crazy, and then the fireworks, and saw some celebrities pass by us. I was just like, man, we're here.
He says he knows he was blessed to have the opportunity, and he never lets one pass him by.
The main part of this story is when an opportunity presents itself, how would you handle it? Would you be scared to take a risk, or would you just accept the opportunity and go?
2 seasons and 20 wins later, the Bears traded for Keys, who spent the 83, 84, and 85 seasons in Chicago, where fellow Mississippian Walter Payton took him under his wing.
Well, definitely, when I went there, I never forget meeting Walter Payton, and of course I grew up watching Walter Payton, and I appreciate him for taking me up under his wings and showing me the ropes, the do's and the don'ts of a big city like Chicago.
For many, the image of Walter and his hill will last forever, and perhaps it is fitting that no one else can ever claim to be king of that hill.
It turned into a par 3 golf course. It's not there anymore. I had a coach there by the name of Robert Hill, who he had a different philosophy in terms of coaching.
Hill placed little importance on non-contact drills, believing that the best way to nurture a successful football team was to have them play a lot of football.
Monday, we scrimmage. Tuesday, we scrimmage. Wednesday, we scrimmage. Thursday, we scrimmage.
As a 4-year starter, Payton averaged over 6 yards a carry, rushed for over 3,500 yards, and attracted other top prospects to the program.
Everyone was talking about this hot, new, sensational running back that they had, and sure enough, he was pretty special. I remember thinking, man, wouldn't it be nice to go there and be on the team with him? And I got to meet him and saw what a neat guy he was, and I said, man, I'd sure like to play with him. And ended up getting a chance to block for him.
Walter finished his college career as the leading scorer in NCAA history, piling up an astounding 66 touchdowns in only 43 games. From 1971 to 74, Payton and the Tigers won 33 games while losing just 9. An organization designed to offer kids guidance and support in a friendly and safe environment.
Our foundation is to make a difference wherever that need or wherever that positioning may be, and that's what we do.
Walter's dedication to helping kids is evident even when it comes to the simplest of tasks.
I'd like to get into a situation when you sign autographs that you interact with that person somehow, or you ask him questions about where he's from, what he's doing.
Walter, how are you? Nice to meet you, man. Pleasure's all mine. Who's that? That's my son, Simon. Hi, Simon. How are you? Yeah. Can you sign his ball for him? Be glad to.
I have 2 kids, and if they had an opportunity to meet, one of their heroes, I would appreciate it if they, would give the courtesy to be just a little personal.
While in Tampa, Tyrone recalled Payton's urging that he start preparing now for life after football. Keys took a job as a substitute teacher at a local high school and became more active in his community. He closed his pro career in 1988 with San Diego. At age 29, with 9 pro seasons, a Super Bowl ring, and some college records on his resume, Tyrone Keys went back to Tampa to make a difference, where kids who were helped come back to help others.
Is Tyrone Keys, founder of All Sports Community Service. Some of us in the room are old enough to remember Tyrone as part of the 1985 Super Bowl champion Chicago Bears. He's the one seen playing the keyboard in the Super Bowl Shuffle.
We know it's good, knowing your mind like we knew we would. You know we're just strutting for fun, strutting our stuff for everyone. We're not here to start no trouble.
An Emmy-winning song that was performed by team members and raised thousands of dollars for needy Chicago families. Drawing on the idea of using his success to give back, as well as his personal experience with mentors along his journey, Keys created his own foundation to help others. In 1993, Keys founded All Sports Community Service, a nonprofit mentoring and scholarship organization dedicated to helping challenged youth in Tampa achieve their dreams of attending college. Keys teaches his students the idea that the skills learned on the playing field could be parlayed into the field of life. And since 1993, All Sports has assisted hundreds of students obtain millions of dollars in support toward their college education. But an important aspect of receiving help from All Sports Community Service is a commitment to becoming mentors themselves, returning to the community to assist the next generation and carrying on the root to fruit model that he has fostered.
A successful pro career and seeing someone come back to the community and not being what I see on television is, being able to come back with me one-on-one, being like a second father figure to me and helping me do something positive with my life, getting me started, maybe do something he's done, maybe if I'm blessed, to go to the NFL, go to the league or something like that, I hope that I can come back and do some of the same things that he's done.
My personal motto is each one, teach one. So if I reach one, then that kid will reach one. Just make a vicious cycle of success that can improve our community.
For 13 seasons, Walter Payton inspired wonder in all those who had the privilege to watch him play. His runs made fans marvel, and his unselfishness made 30-year-old, 300-pound linemen act like children.
Myself or Noah Jackson, we'd run in the end zone and try to get the ball so you could spike it. That was kind of a good feeling too. It made us feel as if we scored the touchdown.
And maybe that is Walter's greatest gift. Not his athletic talent, but his unique ability to touch all those who came in contact with him.
He was just a great person to play with.